Since I think I have to do it once more, it takes 2 minutes, we'll play it, and I'll find out what's wrong. I say the right thing to them.
I got to know and work with Johnny Williams on Star Wars because of Steven, who had recommended him from Jaws, and it was great. That's the most fun part of making a movie for me, because you don't have to do anything. You just sit back and listen, and it's all. And with Johnny, it's just fantastic.
I've been very fortunate to work with both George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, because in the case of both of those gentlemen, they are interested in music and use it in a very theatrical way that gives the music an opportunity to project itself and gives me an opportunity to write in a thematic way that wouldn't be possible in all kinds of films.
First hitch is too heavy. Too heavy.
Yeah.
Too heavy, yeah.
Let me just react to what we've heard.
John, he'd actually written 2 Raiders themes. He had written, play that for me, which I freaked out over. I loved it so much. Then he said, and here's another possible Raiders score, Raiders main theme, and he played. And so he had 2 choices, and I think my only input was to say, can't you use both? And he did. He made the latter the bridge, and he made the former the main theme.
That's a perfect example of the kind of collaboration that we have done with these things. Interesting about that da-da-da-dee, da-da-da, a very simple little sequence of notes, but I spend more time on those little bits of musical grammar to get them just right so that they seem inevitable, seem like they've always been there. They're so simple, and I don't know how many permutations I will go through with a 6-note motif like that, 1 note down, 1 note up, and spend a lot of time on these little simplicities, which are often the hardest things to capture, I think, for anybody. Good morning. The first piece is 13-4-14-1. When I wrote the music for Raiders of the Lost Ark, I think I understood that was to be the first in the series. And I didn't know where this love story was going to go, if anywhere, But I thought that there was a real spark between the two of them, and a real sort of potential love story was there. But I thought the music were lyrical and emotional and warm, and the orchestra could sing this love theme, even if we didn't have love scenes, that it might be permissible to interject that kind of musical emotion in their relationship. These films do present a wide range of musical challenges. We go to great lengths to frighten the audience and use sometimes advanced orchestral techniques, atonal music, which would be more akin to contemporary concert music, Bartok and others. And people, if they heard the music without the film, might be shocked by it. But for me and for the orchestra also, it's a pretty exciting challenge to do, to be still on the right pace with what we see and hear and feel. So those things are terrific fun to do. Fun in this sense also. I mean, we have the Nazis, and the orchestra hits these 1940s dramatic chords, the seventh degree of the scale on the bottom, which is like a kind of an old signal of some evil militaristic doer.
Good evening, Fräulein.
We just unabashedly did that just for the fun of it. I mean, for the camp fun of it. And it's admissible, it seems, in the style of a picture like this. The role of the orchestra at the end of the Raiders of the Lost Ark film is a complicated one, because the music has to perhaps lure us into something that's sonically that's going to say this is going to be a beautiful experience, and then torture it and turn it around with the sound effects into something that could be quite terrifying. It's something that we would do in opera. It's part of the grammar and part of the technique of a composer and an orchestrator's tools to manipulate sound in that way, to lure us into one place and then deliver something else in the process. the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, a very good example of that kind of sonic transformation. In the case of the three Indiana Jones films, the experience for me was very much like the experience of doing the Star Wars series, in the sense that one seemed to be the natural continuation of the other, and it's sort of like riding a bicycle. I didn't have to relearn how to do it. I begin to work, and within an hour or two, I was back into the rhythm and into the spirit of the piece somehow.
Nice try, Lao She. Goodbye, Dr. Jones.
Also, we have the hero's theme, which is common to all three films, so the starting point is always enhanced by having a given musical subject from an earlier film.
Temple of Doom was exactly what George wanted. It was Indiana Jones, sort of goes to hell, and then returns to fight and love another day. And Johnny saw it, and I think he reacted appropriately. Dark and strange with all the choral, the dark male chorus, with all the stuff happening inside the actual Temple of Doom itself.